I was a rich girl from a powerful family, right up until my dad cut me off. I had to go to my nemesis and ask for a loan. Before I knew it, I owed him $13.14 million. Then, my family went bankrupt. I became my nemesis's secretary for a measly $5,000 a month. My life was over. Even if I don't eat or drink, it'll take me 109 years to pay this off, I moaned. Just let the world burn. From his CEO's chair, my nemesis said coolly, you can pay me back with your body. $10,000 a session. I did the math. At $10,000 a pop, that was 1,314 sessions. By the time I paid off the debt, I'd be completely wrecked. My nemesis was a billionaire. 13 million was a drop in the bucket for him. I tried to negotiate. How about 100,000 a session? Leo Sterling didn't answer. He just sat there, looking thoughtful. That's when I heard his inner voice. At that rate, it'd be 131.4 sessions. If we did it every day, she'd be paid off in a little over 4 months. No. I can't let her pay it off that fast. My eyes widened. Even if he was up for it every single day, what about my period? His thoughts continued. Besides, 30 times a month probably wouldn't be enough for me. When I'm in the mood, 3 to 5 times a night should be perfectly normal, right? I stared at Leo in disbelief. What a load of crap. Did he really think he had that kind of stamina? Seeing him silent, I pressed, well, Mr. Sterling? What do you think? He replied with an icy tone, I don't like to haggle. 10,000 a session. Take it or leave it. I cursed him in my head, Scrooge. He was already loaded, so why be so stingy? His thoughts answered, this way, it'll take her 3 years to pay it off. The thought of it makes me so happy. In 3 years, I'll win her heart. I just know it. I froze. His intentions couldn't be more obvious, and he still thought he could make me fall for him? We used to be sworn enemies. Back in school, he was 3 years ahead of me. Our families have been friends for generations. Our rivalry started when I was in middle school. He was first in his class. My grades were just above average. He took it upon himself to tell my mom he'd tutor me. Tutoring was one thing, but he was incredibly strict. He took over my life after school and on weekends, leaving me with zero freedom. I started to rebel. The mere mention of him tutoring me gave me a headache. Later, I got into the same high school he'd gone to. When he wrote a love letter to the most popular girl in school, I just looked the other way. But when a guy confessed his feelings for me on the sports field, Leo ratted me out to my mom, telling her I was dating too young. I got a huge lecture because of him. I was so mad I filled my diary with, I hate Leo Sterling, I hate Leo Sterling, Chloe Jones hates Leo Sterling. After that, I got into the same university he'd attended. I confessed my feelings to his best friend, and he overheard. His face went black. I just shrugged it off. I can date now, Leo. You can't control me anymore. I don't know if he had a problem with his roommate or what. He forbade me from dating him. I still remember his domineering words, break up with him, or our friendship is over. Who I dated was my business. What right did he have to interfere? I immediately agreed. Fine. Friendship over. Even though we were over, when my dad cut off my credit cards, I went to Leo for money. He never said no. And just like that, my nemesis became my creditor. As for why the total was exactly 13.14 million? The first time I borrowed 10 million, the second time 3 million. The third time, I asked for 150,000, but he said he only had 140,000 in his petty cash, so that's what he sent. The grand total was a pure coincidence. And now he was saying he wanted to win my heart in 3 years? Was he planning to make me fall for him just so he could dump me? Revenge for me dating his roommate back in the day? That was just evil. I couldn't let his twisted plan succeed. Oh, well, forget it then. I'll just work and pay you back slowly. I doubted he'd live another 109 years anyway. I heard his thoughts again. Damn it, my big mouth. I blew it. I have to salvage this situation. But if I back down now, will she take advantage of it? Can't spoil her. If she pays it off too quickly, I'll lose my leverage over her. Leo's gaze darkened, but his attitude remained arrogant. Are you sure? This is a one-time offer. Think it over carefully. I didn't hesitate for a second. I've thought it over. If there's nothing else, I'm heading out for the day. As I turned to leave, I heard his inner voice again. My heart is breaking. If I'd known this wouldn't work on my darling, I wouldn't have acted so high and mighty. Honey, don't go. If you just come back and say one nice thing, I'll agree. Whatever you want, it's yours. I'd even pay you. Why is she leaving without even looking back? I stopped in my tracks. I remembered the real reason I'd come to see Leo was to ask for time off. The leave request form was still in my folder. I hadn't given it to him yet. Steeling myself, I walked back. Hearing my footsteps, Leo's heart leaped with joy. She's back. I'm so happy. Is she going to give in? Anticipating. If she just asks, I'll agree to anything in a heartbeat. I pretended I hadn't heard a thing and handed him the form. Mr. Sterling, I need to take 2 hours off this afternoon and leave early. Please approve this. Leo's expression stiffened. What for? To meet the broke college student I used to sponsor. He was in the city and said he had something important to tell me. We were supposed to meet at a coffee shop. But there was no way I was telling Leo the truth. If I did, he'd never let me go. Just a personal matter I need to take care of. Leo signed the form and handed it to me. I took it, but he wouldn't let go. Leo hinted, Chloe, is there something else you wanted to say to me? He looked so cold and aloof, but his inner voice sounded so desperate. Is my hint obvious enough? Come on, baby, give me an out. Please. I'm easy, really. I thought to myself that Leo sure had gotten comfortable calling me baby in his head. Did he eat something weird? Had he forgotten we were nemesis? Where we came from, rivals did not call each other baby. I've said all I need to say. I tugged at the form. Mr. Sterling, please let go. Leo released the form, his face falling in disappointment. He turned cold again. Close the door on your way out. Got it. I took the form and left, closing the door to the CEO's office behind me. At the coffee shop, I saw him, Sean, the broke college kid I used to sponsor. Before my family went bankrupt, I'd supported him for 3 years. After we lost everything this year, I had to stop. Come to think of it, he was a senior now. I looked him over. He was dressed head to toe in designer clothes, looking anything but broke. He was tall and handsome, with an air of pure innocence about him. Could it be? Had he come to the big city and found himself a sugar mama? Sean, what are you doing in New York? I asked. Here for an internship? Sean explained, Chloe, I was switched at birth. I just reconnected with my biological parents, and they live here in the city. So, a long-lost heir. After he spoke, he took out a black card and placed it on the table in front of me. I know you're going through a tough time. My parents gave me this for spending money. Take it for now. I never expected him to be so grateful. Over the past 3 years, I'd sent him about $3,000 a month. On top of that, I'd bought him a phone and a laptop. All told, I'd probably spent around $120,000 on him. To the old me, $120,000 was the price of a handbag. It was nothing. I never expected him to pay me back. I was down on my luck, but not so desperate that I'd take money from a college kid I sponsored. I pushed the card back toward him. No, thank you. Your parents gave it to you, so you should use it. I have a job now. I can support myself. Chloe, I'm so grateful for your help. If you won't take this, can you at least let me repay you in some other way? I asked casually, like what? He replied, my mom bought me a sports car. Can I give you a ride to and from work? After my family went bankrupt, I had to sell my sports car. These days, Leo gave me a ride. He was my boss now, and I felt bad having him drive me every day. But every time, he'd act super casual, saying he just happened to be passing by and could give me a lift. If Sean drove me to work for a while, I'd have an excuse to turn Leo down. With that in mind, I agreed. If it's not too much trouble, you can give me a ride to work tomorrow. A smile spread across Sean's face. Great. No trouble at all. The next morning, I called Leo. Mr. Sterling, don't come pick me up today. I'll get to the office on my own. Leo's voice was rushed. I'm only 2 traffic lights away from your building. I brought you breakfast. How are you getting to work? A cab? Or is someone picking you up? Someone's picking me up, I replied. Who? Leo pressed. I'd rather not say. Sean's sports car pulled up to my apartment building right on time. He'd even thoughtfully brought me breakfast. When we got to the Sterling Corp building, I told him, you can just drop me off at the entrance. Sean smiled wryly. Chloe, I forgot to tell you. I'm starting my internship at Sterling Corp today. I was a bit surprised. What a coincidence. Sean drove straight into the parking garage. Just as we parked, I saw Leo's Rolls-Royce pull into the spot next to us. I immediately hid my face with my purse, opened the door, and tried to slip away. If Leo saw me, he'd probably think I'd gotten myself a boy toy. Oh, wait. No, not a boy toy. More like I'd latched onto a young, handsome rich kid. Leo got out of the Rolls-Royce, holding the breakfast he'd bought for me. Sean recognized Leo and greeted him. Morning, cousin. My jaw dropped. Leo was Sean's cousin? How awkward could this get? Morning. Leo's gaze fell on me, and he called out, Chloe? I had no choice but to lower my purse, stop, and force a polite, if awkward, smile. Good morning, Mr. Sterling. Sean didn't seem surprised that Leo and I knew each other. He must have already found out I was Leo's secretary. He walked over to my side and introduced me to Leo with perfect poise. Cousin, this is the kind lady I told you about. The one who sponsored me for 3 years. Leo's brow furrowed. I heard his thoughts. The person Sean said he wanted to marry is Chloe. My world is ending. No, I have to stake my claim. Make him back off. Leo held out the breakfast he was carrying. I made this for you. I didn't believe for a second that Leo would personally cook breakfast for me. His personal chef must have made it. Sean caught the possessive tone in Leo's words. He chimed in, Cousin, Chloe already ate the breakfast I brought her. She said it was delicious. Leo's eyes darkened as he looked at me. Is that so? I nodded. Yes, I've already eaten. Leo's face fell. He coldly shoved the breakfast into my hands. Then throw it away from me. He turned and walked into the elevator. I stood there holding the container, not sure if I should throw it out or not. In the break room, my coworker, Sarah, was clutching her stomach. I'm starving. I had to rush to catch the subway this morning and didn't have time for breakfast. I handed the container to her. Here, you can have this. Oh, thanks. Sarah took it gratefully. Just then, Leo walked past the break room and saw the whole thing. I heard his thoughts. I actually woke up an hour early to make that for her myself. She didn't just not eat it, she gave it to someone else. Does she really care about me that little? This is hopeless. I'm tired of trying so hard for nothing. I met his gaze, and he said with a detached expression, Chloe, come to my office. Right away, Mr. Sterling. I followed him toward the CEO's office. The whole way there, I wondered if he was going to fire me. Over a breakfast? That seemed a little extreme, didn't it? When we reached his office, he stopped abruptly. I was following too closely and walked right into his chin. Ow! I rubbed my forehead and took a step back, my back hitting the door. He took a step forward, reached around me, and locked it. We were incredibly close, like he was about to pin me against the door. The air felt charged with something intimate. I thought he would back away after locking the door. But he didn't. Instead, he looked down at me. He said, his voice softer, "Chloe, about the debt, we can do it your way, like you said yesterday." First thing in the morning, and this is what he wanted to talk about. Did that mean he was agreeing to 100,000 a session? But now I was hesitating. There was something a little sordid about paying off a debt with your body. Although, Leo was incredibly handsome, with the body of a male model. If something were to happen between us, it's not like I'd be losing out. But doing that with my nemesis? Wouldn't that be incredibly awkward? With that thought, I shook my head. "Mr. Sterling, I don't want to pay you back with my body anymore. I'll find another way to get you the money." I could almost hear Leo's heart shatter. She rejected me again. Does she think my heart is made of stone? "I don't want your money. I want you." I blinked. Had Leo's hate for me turned into love? Leo's eyes were red-rimmed as he said, "Then let's multiply it by 10. 1 million a session." He had no shame. Yesterday, he thought 100,000 was too much, and today he was multiplying it by 10. The offer was too tempting. By my calculations, I could pay off the entire debt in just 13 sessions. To hell with awkwardness. I was going to sleep with my nemesis. I just pretend I was hiring an escort. Afraid he'd change his mind, I immediately blurted out, "Okay, deal." He let out a breath he'd been holding, his heart soaring. She said yes. I can finally have her. 8 years. It's finally my time. Can't get too excited. My ultimate goal is to win her heart. It's so hard to keep from smiling. 8 years? I remembered 8 years ago, when he confessed to the queen bee of our school and got rejected. She was my desk mate. Or, did he want revenge on me from 8 years ago? 8 years ago, I accidentally killed his favorite fish. I was feeding it and didn't know how much to give, so I dumped the whole bag of food in. The fish ate itself to death. He didn't speak to me for days after that. That was right around the time the most popular girl rejected him. Shaking off the thought, I poked his chest. "If there's nothing else, I'm going back to work." "Go on." He gently rubbed my forehead and whispered in my ear, "You're riding with me after work." Was he that eager? Did he mean he wanted to start tonight? Couldn't wait at all? Young people. So much pent-up energy. My ears turned red. I nodded. Okay. That afternoon, I got an invitation to a high school reunion. It was set for this Saturday night. I was going to decline, but everyone in the group chat was so enthusiastic, saying it had been too long. I caved and agreed to go. In the chat, I saw a message from Natalie, the former queen bee. She said she'd be there too. Natalie and I used to be desk mates. After Leo confessed his feelings to her, our friendship slowly drifted apart. We never spoke again after that. At the reunion, I wanted to ask her why she had rejected Leo back then. Leo was the most popular guy in school, a bit of a bad boy, and his family was famously wealthy. I remember Natalie would blush every time she saw him. Why didn't she accept him? Before leaving work, I sent a text to Sean, "You don't have to drive me home today, I have other plans." Sean was silent for a moment before replying, "Okay. What about tomorrow morning? Should I pick you up?" Me, "That's okay too." Sean, "Alright, well, if you need anything, let me know. I'm always here for you." After work, I got into Leo's Rolls Royce. The driver was up front, and we were in the back. Stealing my nerves, I raised the partition between the front and back seats. Since I was the one paying off my debt this way, I should probably take the initiative, right? I started unbuttoning his shirt. Leo's Adam's apple bobbed. His eyes fell to my lips. You don't have to be in such a hurry. I thought he was the one in a hurry. I guess he didn't like doing it in the car. A hotel it is, then. But in his head, he lamented, even though I am in a hurry. I've waited this many years. What's a little longer? Besides, I can't really perform my best in a car. I buttoned his shirt back up. Oh, okay. Then I heard him say, Chloe, move in with me. I was a little taken aback. Why would I move in with you? What's wrong with a hotel? I heard his inner voice, why else? I want to live with you, obviously. He explained calmly, I'm a germaphobe. I don't like hotels. Either you move into my place, or I move into your apartment. Was he asking to live together? It would only be for about half a month. Whatever he wanted. You can move into my place, then. The small duplex apartment I lived in was only about 300 square feet per floor, maybe 500 square feet total. It was already cramped with just me. Leo was used to his 30,000 square foot mansion. I figured he wouldn't last more than a few days. Okay, Leo agreed readily. He first took me back to his mansion for dinner, then quickly packed a suitcase. He had his driver take us to my apartment. On the way, he stopped at a convenience store and went inside to buy 2 boxes of condoms. The thought of what was about to happen made my face flush bright red. In my apartment, while Leo was in the shower, I took his clothes out of his suitcase and hung them in my closet. The simple act gave me the strange feeling that we were a newlywed couple. Thinking back, Leo and I had grown up together. Our parents always used to joke about us, saying our family should be joined by marriage when we grew up. But Leo and I kept missing our chance. I used to have a vague crush on him. But when he wrote that love letter to the queen bee, that unspoken crush was buried deep in my heart, never to be mentioned again. Later, when I dated his roommate in college, it felt like any possibility of us getting together was completely gone. And now, after all these twists and turns, I was his subordinate. And I was about to become his kept woman. It was almost laughable. If I had just agreed to an arranged marriage with him after college, with the help of the Sterling family, maybe my family's company wouldn't have gone bankrupt. But it was useless to think about that now. Leo walked out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. I pushed my thoughts aside, grabbed my nightgown, and headed downstairs. As I passed Leo, I couldn't help but steal a glance at him. He had an incredible physique. With his shirt off, he was even more stunning. One look at his solid abs and the sharp V-lines of his hips, and you could tell he was a dedicated, self-disciplined gym goer. I was about to look away when he pulled me into his arms. He looked at me deeply for a moment, then closed his eyes and pressed his lips to mine. My first kiss, stolen just like that. He had no technique, only pure emotion. And I had no experience, no idea how to respond. It lasted for nearly a minute. Just as he was about to deepen the kiss, I pushed him away, gasping for air. My face was beet red. I'm going to take a shower. I didn't give him a chance to reply, just scurried into the bathroom. From behind me, I heard his thoughts. Does she not like it when I kiss her? But I love it so much. My first kiss, saved for 26 years, finally given to her. She's so sweet, so soft. I haven't had enough. In the shower, all I could think about was the image of him kissing me with his eyes closed. So serious, so absorbed. I had to admit, in that moment, he'd struck a chord in my heart. I never would have guessed that was his first kiss too. It wasn't that I didn't like him kissing me, I just didn't know how to breathe. How embarrassing would it be to pass out from lack of oxygen? After my shower, I put on a slip dress and a silk robe over it. Leo was in the loft bedroom, already in his own robe. When I went upstairs, I saw he was holding a book. It was a collection of essays he had given me 8 years ago. I'd read it so many times and had kept it all these years. On the last blank page of the book, I had handwritten a secret from my teenage years. Chloe doesn't hate Leo. Chloe likes Leo. Please don't let him flip to the last page. If he found out I'd had a crush on him for all these years, I'd die of embarrassment. I heard his thoughts. I can't believe she still has this book. I wonder if the love. Leo was flipping through the pages. He was just about to get to the end. I called out, breaking the silence, "Leo." His thoughts stopped abruptly. He closed the book and put it back on the bookshelf at the foot of the bed. I let out a sigh of relief. He hadn't seen it. Leo turned to look at me, as if wondering why I'd called his name. "Yeah? What's up?" My mind raced, and I quickly invented a reason to change the subject. "My bed is only a full size. It's going to be a little cramped with 2 people." He said coolly, "That's fine." His inner voice was anything but, "Cramped is good. I can hold her all night long. I love this bed. It brings us closer. I wouldn't mind if she slept on top of me all night. The closer the better." A shiver went down my spine. I never would have guessed that beneath Leo's calm, self-possessed exterior was such a passionate man. He wanted to be stuck to me all night? Forgive me for my dirty mind. I eyed his robe, thinking, why is he so bundled up? He seemed to read my mind, answering in his thoughts, "It's more fun to let you take it off yourself. Just a little game of mine." He was a master of mind games. I pushed him onto the bed, straddling him. My fingers traced a slow path down from his Adam's apple. His ears flushed red, and he couldn't help but close his eyes. I heard his thoughts, "Wow, she doesn't hold back. I've fantasized about this 800 times, and today it's finally happening. My throat is my most sensitive spot. This woman knows what she's doing. Don't stop. Kiss me." My hand paused on his chest. I leaned forward to kiss him. He let out a muffled groan, his brow furrowing slightly. I couldn't tell if it was from pleasure or pain. His thoughts clarified, "You're crushing it." When I realized what he meant, my face turned crimson. To avoid the awkwardness, I sealed his lips with mine, savoring him slowly. His body trembled with excitement. His large hands cupped my lower back, and he flipped me over, taking control. The atmosphere grew hotter with our rising body heat, and the empty space in my heart was finally filled. Sweetness and a touch of sorrow mingled in our breaths, flooding my senses like a rising tide. All the unspoken words of my secret crush were finally being confessed to him in a silent language. And with every movement that pulled me closer, he seemed to be responding with a deep, passionate love of his own. The next morning, I was woken up by Leo's thoughts. I am now the happiest man in the entire world. I finally gave myself to her. All those years of waiting were worth it. If I could wake up like this every day, I would die of happiness. The bed was small, so we'd been pressed against each other all night. He would instinctively pull me closer in his sleep to keep me from falling off. We were like 2 vines, tightly intertwined. My face flushed. I nudged him and teased, "Mr. Sterling, isn't this cheating?" No. I didn't move after I fell asleep. Not only did he not let go, he pulled me back into his arms. I cleared my throat. "I still owe you 10.14 million. Are you sure you want to continue?" He paused, then reluctantly released me, a sheen of sweat on his forehead. "Let's get up." I marveled at his self-control. He had a sure thing right there and still managed to hold back. I leaned in close to his ear. "You can't do that again next time. Otherwise, I'm docking $1 million. His eyes darkened. "I can give you another $1 million, but you can't dock it." "What's the difference between docking $1 million and giving me $1 million?" I thought. I heard his answer, "Of course there's a difference. I can't let you take away my benefits. I've held back this much just to make them last. I should have loaned her a few $100 million more. If I transfer a few $100 million to her account now, would that count toward the debt?" I mulled over his words. Was he really willing to lend me a few $100 million more? The $13 million was already a sunk cost, and he wanted to lend more? Some people just have too much money. But I wasn't going to borrow any more from him. If I did, I'd never be able to pay it back. Back at the office, I made a point of avoiding the same elevator as Leo. He usually took the private CEO elevator, but today he followed me into the employee one. 2 colleagues from the design department were already inside. They greeted him respectfully. "Morning, Mr. Sterling." Leo just nodded. "Morning." In the reflection in the mirrored walls, they saw the hickey on Leo's neck. Their eyes lit up with gossip. It dawned on me then, was Leo taking the employee elevator on purpose? Of course, his inner voice answered for him. I can't hide my urge to show off. The whole world needs to know my girl left this mark on me. It doesn't matter if she won't make it official. I'll win her over myself. Even if my coworkers saw a hickey on his neck, they wouldn't automatically suspect me, would they? With that, I took a deliberate step to the side, putting some distance between us. I didn't even dare to make eye contact, afraid that one look would bring back memories of how he'd lost control last night. And I couldn't help but think about how the ship had been docked in the harbor, but the waves had rocked all night long. The elevator doors opened, and more colleagues got on. Leo seized the opportunity to grab my arm and pull me closer to him. The gesture did not go unnoticed by the others. A faint smile played on Leo's lips. Perfect. Now everyone has to know the hickey on my neck is from Chloe, right? I couldn't believe the dignified CEO of Sterling Corp., hailed as a business genius, could be so childish in private. If my coworkers started gossiping about us, it would affect my work. I had to put a stop to this behavior. When we stepped out of the elevator, I saw the hallway was empty and whispered to him, "Mr. Sterling, we are a creditor and a debtor. Please remember your place." Leo's expression froze. "Got it," he said flatly. As I walked to my desk, I heard his thoughts trail behind me. She's so cruel. Last night we were so close, and today at the office she acts like she doesn't know me. She even had to remind me that we're just a creditor and a debtor. It didn't even take half the morning for the company gossip chats to explode. "Mr. Sterling has a hickey, and I bet it's from Chloe. They came into the elevator one after the other today, and he took the employee elevator for once. He was totally showing it off. He even grabbed her hand in the elevator. He's so protective of her. I heard they were childhood friends. Before her family went broke, she was a major heiress. Looks like Chloe's on her way to becoming Mrs. Sterling. I happened to be in that group chat myself. I went online to set the record straight. Mr. Sterling and I aren't close outside of work. Stop spreading rumors." The gossip died down. During my lunch break, I got a text from Leo. "Not close? Is there a single part of your body I haven't touched? If that's not close, what is?" It seemed there was a mole in the group chat who had snitched to Leo. I was speechless. "Leo, come here." It was my lunch break. But as a good secretary, I had to be on call 24/7. I got up and walked to the CEO's office. Leo opened a hidden door and said gently, "You didn't sleep well last night. Go take a nap." Behind the hidden door was his private nap room, with a bed, a sofa, and a bathroom. I politely declined. "No, thank you, Mr. Sterling. I shouldn't." He coaxed me, "Just listen. You need to be well rested to have energy for work this afternoon." "What about you?" I asked. He pointed to the sofa. "I'll sleep on the sofa." He added in his thoughts, "I'd love to hold you while we nap, but I know I can't push my luck." At least he was self-aware. I went through the secret door and took a nap on his bed. The blanket still held the faint, crisp scent of his cologne. Wrapped in his scent, it felt like he was holding me again, just like last night. I slept incredibly well. When I got back to my desk, someone was gossiping in another group chat. I saw Chloe go into the boss's office during lunch. She didn't come out for an hour. It's confirmed. They're secretly dating. As luck would have it, I was in that group chat too. There was no explaining my way out of this one. Fine. I wouldn't even try. If Leo wasn't in a hurry to deny it, why should I care? As I was packing up my desk at the end of the day, Sean walked over. Chloe, can we talk? Sure. We went up to the rooftop terrace. Sean asked tentatively, there are some rumors going around the office. I don't know if you've heard. I said nonchalantly, I've heard. I don't care. Chloe, I heard from my mom that you owe Leo over $10 million. Is he forcing you to do things you don't want to do? Sean was blunt. I have money. Can I help you pay it back? I shook my head. No, thank you, Sean. He's not forcing me to do anything I don't want to. You don't have to worry. It was all consensual. Even if it wasn't to pay off a debt, I'd still be willing. After all, he was the guy I'd been secretly in love with. Life is short. Why not do what makes you happy? Sean took my hand and suddenly confessed, Chloe, will you marry me? I turn 22 in 6 months. We can get our license as soon as I do. I had to laugh. Sean hadn't even graduated from college yet and was a year and a half younger than me. Marriage was a huge step. He was being too impulsive. Besides, I only saw him as a little brother. Just as I was about to turn him down, Leo strode over and pushed Sean's hand away. His face was cold as he said, Sean, Chloe is your future cousin-in-law. Watch yourself. Future cousin-in-law? My family was bankrupt. Did Leo still want to marry me? Sean frowned. Don't kid yourself, cousin. Chloe said in the group chat today that she's not close with you. The moment the words left Sean's mouth, Leo bent down and kissed me. While kissing me, he looked up at Sean, his eyes filled with defiance. When he finished, he wrapped an arm around my shoulder and said softly, be a good girl and tell him whose arms you were in last night, calling out my name. In the heat of the moment last night, I had indeed called him by name. The original says husband, which is husband. I'll change it to that. In the heat of the moment last night, I had indeed called him husband. I didn't want to lead Sean on. So, I decided to play along with Leo. I said to Sean, Sean, your cousin and I are together. As for what you just said, I'll pretend I didn't hear it. Sean's eyes fell, filled with disappointment. I understand. Leo got very comfortable living in my apartment. After work, he'd just stay home with me, taking care of all the cooking and cleaning. I never would have guessed he had such a domestic side. However, he didn't touch me for 2 nights in a row. On the 3rd night, after I had fallen asleep, he stole a kiss and whispered in my ear, Chloe, do you still hate me? Does it matter how much better I become? Can I ever win your heart? What will it take to make you love me? I wanted to wake up but couldn't. Leo held me for a while, then got up and went to the bathroom. He was taking a cold shower. I struggled out of my sleep and looked at the frosted glass of the bathroom downstairs, seeing his silhouette. He would rather take a cold shower to suppress his urges than touch me. Was he already tired of me? After his shower, Leo slipped back into bed. I opened my eyes and looked at him, asking point blank, are you tired of me? Why else wouldn't you touch me? He pulled me into his arms. No, it's not that. I've just been a little tired lately. His thoughts said otherwise. Baby, you know exactly why I'm not touching you, don't you? I'm afraid that if I use up all the sessions, you'll kick me out. So that was it. It seemed he was more comfortable in my tiny apartment than his mansion. He was completely smitten. I called him out. You look like you have plenty of energy to me, taking cold showers in the middle of the night. How are you tired? As I spoke, my hand drifted to his abs, my fingertips drawing circles on them. Or is it that you can't perform? The fire he had just suppressed in his eyes reignited. He rolled over, drowning me in a kiss. It turns out you really can't just go around questioning a man's performance. He will use his actions to prove, emphatically, that he can perform just fine. When I woke up the next day, I weakly reminded him, I still owe you 5.15 million. Also, remember to transfer me $1 million. Leo replied, completely satisfied, A moment later, he lifted his head and whispered in my ear, I want to use one more session. His thoughts, since I've already indulged, I might as well go all in. I shivered. What an animal. He could definitely perform. On Saturday evening, I went to the high school reunion. When I got to the private room, I scanned the crowd and saw Natalie in a corner. I hadn't seen her in 5 years and almost didn't recognize her. She had gained a lot of weight and was wearing cheap, outdated clothes. She looked worn down by life. The moment she saw me, a flash of awe and insecurity crossed her face. I said hello to a few classmates I knew and found a seat. Natalie was chatting with some other people, and I leaned in to eavesdrop. I learned that after graduating from high school, Natalie went straight to work. Within a couple of years, she had married and moved to a remote small town. Now she was a mother of 2. I got up, walked over to her, and said, Natalie, let's talk. Okay. She stood up and followed me out of the room. In the hallway, I asked her, Natalie, you had better options back then. Why did you reject Leo's confession? Natalie bit her lip, unwilling to speak. I probed further, Leo never confessed to you, did he? That letter wasn't for you, was it? Natalie's head snapped up. You know? She whispered. I'm so sorry. I had guessed right. I pressed her for the details. With tears in her eyes, she finally found the courage to confess. The letter tucked inside that book of essays, Leo wrote it for you. I saw it when you went to the bathroom, and I stole it. I used a special correction fluid to change the name to mine. So that's what happened. I never knew Leo had put a love letter in the book he gave me. All I remembered was coming back from the bathroom, and Natalie whispering to me, Chloe, I'll tell you a secret, but you can't tell anyone. Leo wrote me a love letter. He likes me, but I want to focus on my studies, so I don't want to date. She quickly flashed the letter in front of me. I glimpsed her name at the top and recognized Leo's handwriting. Later, when Natalie heard her hand in gym class, she asked me to write her reply to Leo. She dictated, and I wrote. She even begged me, Chloe, I'm too embarrassed to give this to him. Can you do it for me? Please. And so, I was the one who personally delivered the letter that rejected Leo. It was all a misunderstanding. I thought Leo liked Natalie, and Leo thought I had rejected his confession. I only dated his roommate in college to make him angry. In reality, we only dated for a month and never even held hands. Natalie said timidly, I did have a crush on Leo back then, but I knew he would never be with me. I was jealous of you, so I stole your letter to make you misunderstand each other. I'm so sorry. I truly know I was wrong. These past few years have been torture. I wanted to tell you the truth so many times, but I was afraid you'd get revenge on me. I hate how cowardly I was, not having the courage to take responsibility for my mistake. Chloe, I took a 20-hour train ride to come to this reunion just to explain everything to you. I hope you can forgive me. I looked at her, furious. Do you think a simple sorry can erase what you did? I won't forgive you. Tears streamed down her face. I've already been punished. My life is terrible now. I married a lazy gambler, and I'm trapped by my 2 kids. I'll never get out of that town. But you're different. You still have choices. Chloe, I hope you find happiness. If you don't forgive me, I'll feel guilty for the rest of my life. Then let her feel guilty. I had gotten the answer I came for. I turned and walked away. Natalie called out behind me, Chloe, are you and Leo together? I stopped and, without turning back, said, we are. And we're going to stay together. She wiped away her tears and murmured to herself, that's good. You two were always meant to be. I walked out of the bar. Leo's Rolls-Royce was parked by the curb. He was leaning against the car, waiting for me. I walked over to him and threw my arms around him. He froze, pleasantly surprised. What's wrong? My nose tingled. Nothing. I'm just a little cold. It was nothing. I just wanted to hold him. Leo took off his suit jacket and wrapped it around my shoulders. He opened the car door for me. Get in. It's warm inside. Back at the apartment, the moment the door closed, I threw myself into his arms. Leo responded with equal passion, his mind reeling. Am I dreaming? Baby, bite me. I need to know if this is real. She's being so forward. I love it. I was going to try and save the last 4 sessions, but I don't think I can hold back tonight. The next day, we slept until noon. I was woken up by Leo's thoughts, only 1 session left. It's all my fault for losing control last night. I really couldn't help it. From now on, I have to be abstinent. No more touching her. As long as I don't use that last session, she can't kick me out. And even if she tries, I'll just refuse to leave. I opened my eyes and said to him, Leo, let's get married. Leo was ecstatic. Are you serious? I nodded earnestly. Yes. Leo, terrified I'd change my mind, pulled me tightly into his arms. Okay. We'll get the license first, and then I'll throw you a huge wedding. How does that sound? I smiled. So eager? He said bluntly, of course I'm eager. What if you change your mind? I nodded. Okay, whatever you say. But right now, I have something more urgent to do. He leaned close to my ear and whispered, can we, one more time? Just a minute ago, who was it that was swearing in his head to be abstinent? That didn't last long. I nodded, blushing. From now on, you don't have to hold back. You can have me whenever you want. He was overjoyed, finally letting go of all restraint. I heard his thoughts, my suffering is finally over. There's no way I can be abstinent. All those years I held back, I'm going to make up for them now. I hope she doesn't get bored. I'll have to learn some new tricks to keep her heart. Leo gave my family a 30 million wedding gift. After we got married, I moved into his mansion. On our wedding night, lying in his arms, I asked, honey, why 30 million? For good luck? He explained, before you agreed to marry me, I went to see your father. I offered to lend him 30 million to help get his company back on its feet. Since you're marrying me now, he doesn't have to pay it back. Consider it my wedding gift to you. Did that mean he thought I married him for the money? Leo's thoughts answered me, Chloe, even if you don't love me, even if you married me for the money, I'll take it. We have a long life ahead of us. You'll fall in love with me eventually. At 15, Chloe filled her diary with Chloe hates Leo. I hope that by 25, Chloe can love Leo. I looked up at him. He saw the diary. So it wasn't just the misunderstanding with the letter, but with the diary too. He didn't know that sometimes, the person you claim to hate is the one you love. And sometimes, your nemesis is destined to be your husband. He didn't have to wait until I was 25. I'd loved him for a long time. I said seriously, Leo, I didn't marry you for the money. I had no idea you went to see my dad. He pressed, then why? I explained slowly, because I want to walk the rest of my life's path with you. I saw Natalie last night. She told me that she stole the love letter from the book and changed the name to hers. The rejection letter I gave you, I wrote it for her. I thought you were in love with her. So, it was all a misunderstanding, Leo said, his voice thick with emotion. He asked earnestly, Chloe, do you love me? I reached for the book on the shelf at the foot of the bed and handed it to him. The answer is on the last page. You can turn to it yourself. Leo opened the book to the final page, Chloe likes Leo. At the end of the sentence was a date. In that moment, he finally saw the confession that had been 8 years late. Leo's eyes turned red. The book fell from his hands as he pulled me into a tight embrace. The night was long, but the future of our happiness was just beginning.